Hi, this is James Gardner, the Senior Tech Geek, and I'm going to start new videos on product reviews. And this is my first product review, and it's going to be the JSD60, which is an entry-level sound processor from USL. Now, I wanted to start with this product because when I did our initial installations of a number of sites, they were very reluctant to retire their old cinema sound processor. Even though I would have suggested it was probably better to move on to the modern units because they are far more suited to the uncompressed 24-bit sound which the DCI players can now produce. The quality is exceptional compared to what we've been used to. But it's hard to sell something that works very well and has worked very well for years. But there's a lot of advantages in going with the more modern equipment. Now I just want to talk about that quickly because it's a very important issue, because now we are into the digital transition and we've all got a bit of experience with it. We have some equipment in there, we're working with our integrators, installers on maintaining that equipment. It's starting to become more evident to everyone that remote monitoring and the network capabilities of all this new equipment should be taken advantage of as much as possible. So for example, this new JSD60 is completely remote monitorable. It has all the SNMP, this jargon, which means I can monitor it from a knock very easily. I can control it. I can have a look at its the audio path and see what may be going wrong, all from the comfortable seat of my desk. And that's what we really want, because that'll save us money. Because if the integrator or the installer can actually figure out what is wrong before he actually gets up from his chair, that's likely to save us all a lot of money. So this is why I really suggest, if you are on an old school audio processor, that you should really have a look at possibly upgrading that part of your system sooner than later, because it's most likely to save you some money. And at the price that they are now, doesn't have to save you much to pay for itself off. So please have a look at the video. I'm just going to go over a review of how this works. It's all network based now. All the automation goes over the network, all the monitoring over the network. So yes, keep it in mind, and now let's get into the video and have a look at the JSD60 by USL. Here we have the JSD60 at the top, and down below I've got a PC screen which I'll show all the software to configure the unit and how it can be used. So in this review we'll just go through that so you have a clear understanding of the technical capabilities of this unit. First of all, you've got this tool from USL which allows you to configure one or more units, so you can group them together, etc. So you could monitor or have a selection of units that may be in a complex. We've only got one here, so we're going to click into it. And if you have a quick look, it's got a complete summary of all the metadata that you would configure to the unit, and allows you to configure it and calibrate it for your auditorium. So we'll just jump through a few screens here. Obviously you can still control it through this interface, as you can see here. But you can also give it some metadata and completely control it. There's the X-curve and EQ calibration, which USL is very well known for getting that stuff very good, very correct. Filters, crossovers, all the things you would expect from a good cinema processor. Some of the features I really like, for example, in this area where you can actually configure how you're going to treat the audio going in to the speakers going out. For example, if you've got the 8 channel is the digital in, the option is actually the same digital in, but for example you could configure one to accept a 5.1 signal coming from your DCI player and make sure it mixes correctly to a 7.1 out setup in your auditorium. Or in this case, if you go to that button, it would set the 7.1 to map directly to the 7.1. So that's very handy and very simple. Also got analog and all the other expected things you want to see. The mic in is actually also used for your automatic EQing. It can actually automatically EQ rooms and X-curve as you expect with these more modern cinema processors. So that's very nice. You can also, as you can see up the top here, configure what will be displayed underneath the channel. When you're on each channel, you can tell it what to print on the screen, which is also very helpful and very nice to have. So let's jump now to the more of the general use topics. This is more of an engineering use, and I just wanted to show you quickly so you could see all the capabilities. But in terms of a cinema owner, some of the more common things you would use and some of the advanced features or really nice features I like about this unit is it does have a simple web interface on it. So you can simply type the IP address into any web browser on the projection network, and there you've got complete control of it, or you can see what mode it is from anywhere in your projection network. So that's a very good feature, especially if you've got a NOC trying to diagnose problems and find out what's actually going on. If there's a problem with your audio workflow in terms of something's not happening right with the audio, it makes him a lot more likely to be able to pick up the problems in a remote NOC, and therefore saves a lot of money in terms of getting to the rectification of that problem. So this is a really good feature, and a really good feature for such an entry-level device. And so that's that. So finally, I like to test these units for performance, and in this case I've got one of my our eCinema system, and I set it up to communicate to the processor through our automation side to see how efficient and fast it is. And it's very quickly, as you can see here, the response time. This is also all over IP sockets, of course, which is pretty much the trend for all automation going forward. And so you want to actually see how fast it is to react to those messages. And as you can see there, it's extremely fast, no real delay, exactly what you want to see in these processors. So there's, it's well built, got a lot of processors behind it, so you're getting good responses. And finally, let's cover one of the things I really like to look at in these units is that you would like to see what the heat print is and how much heat they produce. I can feel a little bit of heat over this side and pretty much nothing over here. So it's not producing a lot of heat, unlike one of their competitors' units, which is really, you can nearly cook an egg on it. And that's a really good thing to see in an entry level, because heat can be your enemy. If they keep getting really hot and you're turning them on and off every day, that heat expansion is not good for a long-term viability. You want these things to last 10 plus years without a problem. So there you go. This is the JSD 60. Fantastic entry-level unit. Got more features than you'd expect. Fantastic if you're going to be plugging into more domestic type, like DVD players and other domestic type units as well. You've got the features there with the optical and coax, and of course allowing you to use your digital in. You could program it for 5.1, 7.1 combination here, and analog, so you can plug it in, for example, bridge it over to any analog devices, even potentially plugging in an old cinema head if you really needed to. Anyway, thank you. That's my review of the JSD 60. I hope you appreciate it, and that's James Gardner with one of my first review videos, and bye for now.